Alright, so this is Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm gonna load on in to the start. So I am Sergeant Silent, and I have on Discord with me fellow runner of this game, Stoneman 3, not 03, just 3. I always mix that up. Yep, just 3. And he's going to be helping provide commentary for the sake of the video. So, the run's going to start from this screen. Metal Gear Solid 4 uses in-game timing, but the way we're going to do it for the run is we're going to ignore basically the front and the back ends of the run. Also, there's about a minute delay in audio, so if I say something and then Stoneman comes in like a minute later, that's why. But he's going to be explaining stuff. He can introduce himself if he wants. But in the meantime, we'll start when you guys are ready. And that's going to be 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Metal Gear Solid 4. We're playing the easiest difficulty. Because it's the fastest, we're going for any rank. Rank doesn't really matter to us. And we're on New Game Plus. There's a couple strats on New Game Plus that aren't on New Game, simply because of the weapons. We already have weapons and equipment and stuff that otherwise we'd normally have to procure in the field. And right here you're going to see me use a strat.
I'll do it in the beginning part.
You're going to see me use the strat here. I'm going to roll into this loading zone. So the reason you want to roll into loading zones is just like previous Metal Gears, Snake's roll animation, the first part has quite a lot of momentum behind it, but the second half of the roll has almost no momentum and actually eats up a lot of time. So you want to roll into loading zones for that little burst, but not losing time and being detrimental to the run. So this is the first scene of cutscene skips. There's a couple here. There's also unskippable cutscenes thrown into the run. This is an example of one. So these are times where I would say, hey, feel free to read a donation here. So yeah, this is kind of how it's going to be, Stoneman. A lot of it's going to be like me, and then you guys would be on the back, just like explaining. Alright, so this is a small skip right now we're doing. We trigger a caution here in order to skip a cutscene of this ATV.
There's a lot of feel free to read donation.
We skipped the cutscene right there of that vehicle arriving in order to move on, or in order to move faster. And we do that by unequipping our AK because we move slower with a two-handed weapon equipped. Right here you see me turning the camera to trigger this guard into moving early. You want his cycle started as soon as possible. Otherwise, you'll trigger an alert. And in this category, we don't care about alerts, but we want to be quick. And when we get shot, there's a chance we'll get interrupted. So, if we can skip alerts, we skip them. But, yeah, I don't remember what I was saying. This is the first menu. Menus do take time, in-game time. So what you need to do is menu
Good roll.
efficiently focus on the menu. You need to menu efficiently to not lose any time. We're going to put on a specific set of clothes. The outfit you saw me put on lets me blend in with the a group of friendlies here, and then the helmet I'm wearing is the head cam I'm wearing is called Big Boss. It's This game uses an emotion system. Enemies can experience different emotions, and this face camo automatically makes enemies react fearful to you, which causes them to drop their weapons and cower. So it's really quick, and it also allows another type of enemy later in the run called frogs. They will instantly become stunned. So you'll see that in a little bit when we get to an area a couple of rooms from now. But yeah, there's really 3 tiers of difficulty in this game. So this is the easiest one. And on the easiest one, we take little damage, we have maximum amount of ammo and equipment, and there are certain enemies that are in higher difficulties just aren't there. So it's the fastest way to run the game, and we're not going for any specific emblem, which means our goal is simply beat the game as fast as possible in any specific way. So this is another period of cutscenes. So you could read some donations. In the meantime, Stoneman, do you have anything you'd like to add at this point in the run that you feel I should have gone over? And then we're gonna have to wait like a minute.
Snake, hurry and get to the rendezvous point with our informants. First, you'll have to get to the other side of that collapsed building. The only way across is straight through.
Yeah, I can see him.
No, it seems pretty good.
So right there, I tried to skip a, not necessarily skip a cutscene, but skip a stun animation. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get the lineup correctly. You saw me stand up and run into a wall. But,
Was nice, right?
it's a work in
Pretty
practice.
good.
And then right here, we do a quick dodge roll. Usually there's 2 ledges that you drop down, but if you do a dodge roll at the very edge, it actually skips 2 drop downs, and it saves a little bit of time. Because we want to save as much time as possible here.
With which way to go.
Right there, I just equipped the P90. In Metal Gear Solid 4, the P90 is essentially the weapon. It's the weapon for normal enemies. Bigger enemies, we're going to be using 2 other weapons that I'll introduce when we get to those boss fights. In the meantime, we're coming up on the first boss. We just got to get through this area. What are you hoping for, Stone Man? What do you want to see out of this run? While we get some donations read.
Through this one, I would like to see you get a 157-ish, 158. Like really, either really low 158 or really high 157, like from 25, 157, 25 up, I reckon you may get. Depends. You'd have to be quick on your equipment screen stuff. Apart from that, I reckon you could do this.
I definitely think I'll have to be a little quicker. So, world record in this game, period, the fastest time is a 1:57. 7:59, I think, is the fastest time anyone's ever been recorded completing this game. 1:57:48, something like that. So anything sub 2 is amazing, but a lot can go wrong based off of how you position your character, how you move, or how you use a specific weapon. And as a result of that, a 2:15 is probably going to be what we aim for in terms of estimate here. So the fastest way to take out enemies is headshots.
Liquid Easy 157.33, which was done by me. On the bottom screen, it's 157.36, which was done by Snook.
Thank you. So at this point, what we're trying to do is manipulate our...
Don't forget to use the fire grenades.
Oh, you're right. So what we're trying to do here is manipulate our allies to move as quick as possible. By if you hit them, it causes them to not do some stall animations that they would normally do. This is the frogs fight. This fight really comes down a lot to movement, being in the right spot at the right time. You'll notice these frogs, I'm hitting them directly and they're essentially not going down. The reason for that is the first introduction, the first couple waves actually kinda, it throws them at them to you in a specific way as to introduce them coming into the scene.
What was that for?
So we have to react to that. But once you learn where the frogs come in, then you can take them all out relatively quickly. So you see this is a bunch of NPCs. They're Rat Patrol 01. The fact that they're moving already is pretty good. So you're gonna see a big manipulation coming up right here with their movement. They're gonna get to the bottom of these stairs and they're gonna line up one after the next, and they're gonna instantly like snap into a formation. They're gonna snap into a formation, and I'm going to hit them. It's going to chain react them, and as it chain reacts them, it's going to break them out, and it's going to skip a little like forced FMV here with the Johnny, the one who has the black hood on. It saves a couple seconds, forcing them to come this way.
Don't forget, after you make Johnny relieve himself, run straight to the end. Run straight to the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Stone. So we're gonna wait for Johnny to sit here. Hopefully Ed doesn't get in our way. We're gonna shoot him to make him stand up and start moving. Johnny is the last one, and this scene will not continue without Johnny. So we want him to come here and then head over here to trigger the next scene. So we were avoiding a flashbang here, apparently getting hit by it, but this is the effects of the big boss mask. These frogs just instantly go down when you have the mask. So your goal is to just take them out as quick as possible. Because this scene will not continue until all frogs have been eliminated. And there is a set number of them, as you can see here. So once you hear Meryl, the one with red hair, say that, that's an audio cue. You want to be in this hallway here by the time that she kicks Johnny in order to immediately trigger the next scene. It's much faster to just let her wake him up than to bother waking him up yourself. So this is an unskippable cutscene. Donations, and Stoneman is free to interject something should he want.
Akiba!
Yeah, basically, as you said, you just got to try to get into that little hallway as fast as you can. As soon as you hear Meryl say something, preferably you should be in the hallway, but if you're close enough to it, it should be okay.
So, one of the big factors about this difficulty is that...
And the reason he stopped there to let the big guy go first is to make this forklift come through the door faster. It makes frogs spawn in.
Thank you, Stone.
So it's not because we don't like the AIs. We only hit them to make them move faster and to load things quicker.
So the good thing about this difficulty is two things about that fight. First off, enemies die in one shot from just about anything in this difficulty.
Okay, time to head to the surface.
Which makes this really convenient for us. And in addition, you saw the words auto aim appear on screen. What the auto aim does is it essentially auto locks on to somebody, making it so I don't have to manually aim for them. On lower difficulties, it's worth it, especially when they die in 1 to 3 hits. But on the higher difficulties, it's actually inadvisable to use auto aim because most enemies will, even on the hardest difficulty, enemies die in 1 headshot. And it's faster to aim for the head and take them out than it is to auto aim, which is going to hit them in the body. So I'm taking a kind of specific route here. Not because I'm worried, mostly it just stops me from taking extra damage I don't want to take. Really, this is a bunch of... You could think of this game as a collection of ILs. That's the difference between a multi-segment and a single-segment run of this. In a single segment, you do everything at once, whereas in a multi-segment, every room is its IL. And you have to get through every room the fastest and most optimal way possible. So there are different strats for every room. I'm not going to go into all of them, but it is quite a different run, saving upwards of 20-25 minutes easily.
Yeah, you want to try to avoid
Hey, Slumdog.
getting shot because it gives you a stun animation.
Oh, additionally, you want to avoid entering aim mode as much as possible, and the reason for that is you innately move slower when aiming, whether it be a hip aim or down the sights aim. So obviously if you're moving slower, rooms have different patterns and you have to react accordingly to that. Also, this is the end of Act 1. You can read some donations here. Before we get into them, I would just like to say certain doors, it looks like you can just roll into them and they'll open, but you actually have to touch them while Snake is standing. If he rolls into them, the door will not open. So I'm actually recording right now, Slumdog. Oh, and this is a great time for donations. I'm actually recording this.
Lucky you didn't get shot for that.
I'm recording this with commentary, Slumdog, for a GDQ submission. It is kind of practice, but it's mostly an actual attempt. You're right, I am lucky I didn't get shot there by the gun.
I thought you were quicker than that.
I thought I was quicker than that too. A 20-minute Act 1. Hey, for explaining commentary at the same time as doing the run, I'm okay with a sub 20-minute Act 1. That's not bad. And I could still get a great time. Because that's only, what, 2 minutes behind? Yes. Oh, GDQ is Games Done Quickly. It's a speedrunning marathon that happens 3 times annually now in the United States. I don't need to change costume. I need Big Boss. I might as well change costume.
Just because it's 20 minutes in the first act, we've still got much more time
That's not what I
to.
want. So, specifically here, I want to...
Well, 2 minutes behind could be saved in Act 3.
So, I want to menu a specific way here, or menu in specific weapons, and I want to do it much faster than that, because, the way this game works is there's certain cutscenes that come up, and these cutscenes, the weapons will be pre-selected, and if they're already in your weapon select, then the game will just swap to them. If they're not, it will replace whatever weapon you have with the weapon the game requires you to have at that point. So we want to menu as few different things in while getting everything we need for the run. So I menued a couple weapons in there that you'll see me use. You'll see me use them all at some point, either by choice or by not. And then right here is a codec call that if you, when you trigger it, it automatically ends any alert that was ongoing and triggers day to begin. So, if you're having a rough time, once you hit that point, you could think of it as kind of like a safety. It's useful because this is on the hardest difficulty of this game. This is actually one of the hardest rooms to get through without triggering an alert. You can get around that guy without triggering an alert, but I did not do it successfully.
Indeed. Yeah, basically, if you keep the operator in your slots, it should be really. You shouldn't actually need to worry about it swapping your weapon out that much.
What? Oh, it's you. Who?
Yeah, in this game, it swaps the M4 out late game, and it swaps the operator out much earlier game. I did not take the fastest way through this room, but that's fine. Alright, so we're, at this point, we're in South America, and we're trying to get to an NPC to rescue her. There are 2 ways through this area. The primary road that actually is quite complicated to get through, and then a little back road, or a little back area that is, it saves a couple minutes to go through, but it's kind of like a maze. It's a little interesting. I kind of just said that because I'm looking for something to say right now. Stone Man, cover me.
The reason he was rolling uphill then was because Snake slows down when he's walking uphill, so when he rolls uphill, he goes so much quicker.
Yes. Yeah. That is true.
Who goes there?
So you'll notice that it's really easy to manipulate enemies into hearing me or seeing me in the distance, and they'll look that direction. Also, this guy here, if he sees you too early, he has a grenade launcher, and if he hits you with it, it sends you flying, and you lose a good chunk of time. So you want to roll
with
there
this
for safety.
route that we take, it saves roughly about 1 minute to 2 minutes, and it's much more linear.
Snake.
Alright. So now we're at the essentially back half of the room. We skipped the entire front of it by going the direction we... Oh, I fell into the pit. By going the direction we did. And this makes it just a little bit quicker. You'll notice I actually haven't even needed to menu any of those guns in yet, which is really good. Because menu takes time. That was an example of me getting hit and it did the stagger. This guy here, you actually want to not get hit by because he has another grenade launcher. Those rolls were all for safety. I didn't know if he was going to launch one. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I forgot to... You could take him out with an auto aim shot, but... I mean... It's whatever.
What are you doing here?
Alright, so now we're coming up to the mansion. This is going to be a huge fight between two factions. Technically, we're not on either side, even though we're wearing one side's uniform.
The rebels have got an armored dozer. They're probably gonna use it to bust their
All that
way
really
into the
does
mansion.
is make it so that we're innately friendly instead of having to earn it, which isn't a big deal. But yeah, this is just gonna be a big fight. We're gonna ignore pretty much everything and just make our way to the designated objective.
Naomi's lab is somewhere
I've
inside the
never-
mansion grounds.
Yeah, you know, you're right, Slumdog. I've never tried
using
that.
box instead of rolling. In
The only-
the older Metal Gears, it did.
The only problem with using the cardboard box would be you'd have to menu it in and equip it. So the question is, would it save time? Because you really only roll up hills in the second chapter. But it's an interesting concept that would be worth experimenting. Is there a guy alive up here? What? I've never seen that before. Alright, so, there's a couple things on the HUD I can explain. You'll notice in the top right,
Yeah.
is, a number that changes between a percentage. It changes blue, red, and, I guess like white. If it's blue, it means
If
there's a
anything,
lot.
the drum may do it because it's just like a forward motion, so the drum may help a bit, but I'm not too sure about the box.
If it's blue, it means that there's so much noise going on, I actually have extra camouflage. If it's white, that's just a base camouflage number. And if it is red, it means... What?
You want me to drop your food to the bottom of the step?
No.
Okay.
If it's white, or if it's red, it means that I'm actually producing a lot of noise. And I'm probably in the negative. So,
You're surrounded,
this
Snake.
is Frog's
You'll have
Fight
to break
1.
through to go after Naomi. Take out those enemy
What we're gonna
soldiers
do
and
is
clear
take
a
out
path.
these first two frogs. And then if we do this right, we'll manipulate them to spawn in a very specific spot. And from that spot, this is the good thing about having only one hit. I'm going to equip the 2 weapons that I'm going to need for the next part. If we manipulate them into this spot, it makes taking them out really easy, especially on higher difficulties, because they'll always be in the same place. And then, oh, I'm on liquid easy, so only 1 wave spawns. The trigger for the boss is right here. That was my bad. I was thinking I was on a harder difficulty, where there's more than 2 waves. And then in the top left is my health and my physique or stamina.
There's only 2 on liquid easy. Only 2 sections.
Yeah, thanks, Stone.
Look, you're wasting time. Run, go run.
So this is night vision mode. It just helps me see this boss better. This boss has a very specific setup to fight her. Hit her with a fully charged. Oh, she actually didn't go in any of the usual spots here. You want to hit this boss with a fully
Yeah,
charged. Where did she go? Oh, she went to the body. She doesn't normally do that. You want to hit her with a fully charged railgun. Then after a fully charged railgun, she goes camouflage. You hit her in the head. Then she does this. This is your ally. You hit her with another one. She will camouflage as one of those enemies that we killed earlier. She's always this one here. And then she's gonna come back in through a window. We're gonna manipulate her to spawn at one of these 2 windows. We're gonna wait. And we're just gonna hit her, because she's going to turn into the woman we came here to rescue. We're gonna shoot her, then we're gonna charge another railgun, and we're gonna stand close to her, because if we're too far away, she'll do this. This is a ball attack. It just wastes an insane amount of time. It's really obnoxious, but you know, it just happens. So all we gotta do is get this last hit on her if she'll let us, and that's fight over. Or she'll live. That's fine. That's fine. She lived. What an octopus fight. That was okay. I don't know how she lived that last one, but it happened. And then the next, all bosses, or most bosses have 2 stages. So the fastest way to do this, if you don't care about killing, is to roll over.
Okay, that's new.
Yeah, you want to dodge roll away, and hold the button so you land on the ground, and then simply press triangle so you roll on your back.
She is dead because you caught her trying. She was trying to get out the window.
Yeah. If you roll on your front and back, she'll eventually get down. And then you want to roll back on your back and aim the 50 caliber at her, because it will automatically kill her in 1 shot on every difficulty, except maybe the hardest. I don't actually run the hardest very often, but I think it does.
Snake, follow Naomi's trail and find out where they took her. Watch out, though. You might run into
So
a
this
few
part's
holdups along the way.
intended to be a maze. We're supposed to use night vision, follow some footprints, but you know, there's really only one way to go. So once you memorize it, it's the same every time, and you can simply go and complete this level. So while I run through this will be a good time to get some donations in.
Looks like they split up here.
To answer the question in chat, we're getting hit through on the box. Maybe, but I mean, we don't have any problems with getting hit in this difficulty. Oops. So it's fine if we just, you know, casually go
Yeah,
through.
I think the only time a thing would
That's
change
Naomi's shoe
is
prints just
because
vanish.
there's different enemy
Just
placements,
turns.
but the vast majority of them are the same.
Even on speaking off of Stoneman's point, even on TBE, which is the hardest difficulty, it and Big Boss or BBH, those are just our abbreviations. I apologize for using them. It only adds a couple enemies. It adds like one frog to this area, and that's about it. And you see what this mask does to frogs, so it pretty much makes getting through them easy. So yeah, going back to chat, I don't know if the rolling drum, I think the problem with the rolling drum would be if you use it, you get sick and vomit, so you'd have to memorize the correct amount of rolls, or you'd lose too much time, and I don't think you could make it up that entire hill with the rolling drum quick enough to be effective. But the cargo box might work because it might make you move faster. Alright, so we're coming into a part of the run. We met an NPC earlier named Drebin, who essentially launders guns for us. And at this point, we're gonna get on top of his, they're not called APCs, I don't remember what it is. And we have to clear the way through this. It's kind of an auto-scroller. There is some skill. You have to make sure you take out correct enemies.
I don't know. I reckon the cargo box could move you at Snake's crouching movement.
So we're gonna see if we can two-cycle this. And because he jumped, I don't know if we'll get it. We'll see if this enemy gets right here. If I can get him. He's not behaving nice. Nope. So that's the slow way to do this. I had to wait for him to jump because I couldn't get a hit on him. So that's the tech for the first room. I might have heard of it, Slum, but I don't play MGO. I don't like the Metal Gear games online competitive scene. I have much more fun playing them casually. This is Drebin 2. The only requirement is that we kill these things here called geckos, which you did see earlier in the run, but this is our first time really dealing with them. We want to hit them in a specific spot on their head to kill them almost instantly. I gotta take care of this guy. We have to kill all of them but two or but one, and we have to do it as quick as possible, because once these guys start getting on the ATV, things starts getting complicated. You saw they interrupted me twice there. That can happen quite a lot. It can just be interrupted, and it's really kind of RNG how many of them will climb onto the ATP. So the fact that only two got up was pretty good. I'd say that was slightly above average.
Got an MGS on
So yeah. And then this is part 3. Part 3, the only thing I have to do is get through a door by shooting it. That's literally it for part 3. And then after that, it's just going to be finishing the thing out. So this is time to do some more donations, and then I will talk in the last room.
The gate! Snake! Shoot the gate!
So yeah, I might have heard about the fan or MGO getting a revival.
Using the gunner RPG. Machine gun even not RPG.
Yeah. I have a personal... some people think that the fastest way through the door is to use a javelin. Some people think the fastest way is to use the turret. I think they're really close, and it's really personal preference if you've set it up for that or not. So that comes to, yeah, I don't set mine up like that. So it's just how it works. Yeah. So this is just more geckos. I don't actually have to kill anything else at this point. I can, but it's pretty irrelevant. This is just unskippable exposition. So, but thankfully this is the last Drebin room. There's nothing else to do after this. So feel free to read donations during this last Drebin. Anything you'd like to say at this point, Stone Man? We're gonna be sitting here for probably a minute or two.
Hang on! It's gonna get bumpy! Up front! Here they come!
I played MGO that came with this game, but I never played the MGO. I actually have not touched Metal Gear Online for 5 yet.
No, I think you more or less covered everything. We don't really need to kill any of the deckles in turn. It's just to make them look cooler, probably.
I think
To give you something to shoot at while you're trying to kill time.
Alright, so we're coming into the final room. This is of Act 2. This is Marketplace. This room is probably, at least to me personally, I'd say it's semi-famous for having one of the most annoying enemies in the game. These gecko here, they have a kick move, which at a minimum sends you flying.
The third one, but by the time I say it, you probably get a finish.
But
Jump it, just jump towards it.
yeah, that actually literally just happened, Stone. Whoever has joined, you're welcome to communicate, but please refrain from cursing. I am recording right now. Okay, they left. Who was that? Was that Raichu? That was so random. I apologize for that. I don't know what that was.
That timed out really well. What the... I think I know who that... Straight up. That was a fart noise. I reckon that was OCM.
Oh.
I reckon that was OCM.
Well, if it was OCM, OCM is a prominent Metal Gear 5 runner. What a jerk, dude. Alright. So we're coming into Act 3. Act 3 is absolutely terrible. It's slow, it's boring, we're gonna make it fun. We're gonna try. So, the thing about Act 3 is it's literally, the first half is an escort mission, and the second half is a auto-scroller.
That's unreal.
And we're gonna try our best to make
What a troll.
both of those entertaining. What we want to do is set up, the blonde blue-eyed beauty, costume, and then we want to equip the iPod because we're really cool. And we want to make sure we have cry ammo loaded into our gun. So the reason we put cry ammo in on this difficulty is because the NPC here will normally stop when you shoot a guard and question it, but if the guard is on his knees crying his eyes out, the NPC will actually completely ignore him, allowing him to continue on normally. So we're going to take a shot right here. This is going to force the NPC to run a specific way. It's going to save, overall, a couple seconds. We'll see what pattern we get. I believe he's going all the way over to the alleyway, which is unfortunate, but we might get the good one. No, he went into the alleyway, so we have to wait for him to come back. But even so, it's just a little bit faster than if we had waited for him the entire time, due to the fact that he likes to stop in a lot of different places. So this NPC is actually gated by how close you are to him. If you're too far from him, he will not continue on with the he won't continue on. He'll stop and he'll wait for you to come back. Ooh, okay. Hopefully he doesn't see me here. I think I'm good. So we want to stay close, but not too close, because if he sees us, it gets annoying. And there's a specific path through here that lets us take out guards optimally ahead of time. So once he stops, he looks around this corner. Once he starts moving, he's guaranteed to move to the next position. So we can safely get a little bit away from him. Use this upper balcony here, get down, take this guard out. You'll notice he starts crying. So what this is going to do is it's going to trick this NPC into ignoring him and simply running right past him. We're then going to wait a little bit, make sure he gets up to it. Then we're going to take out the second one. I said we're going to take out the second one, and he's going to do the same thing. So the reason we have to wait just a little bit is because they actually don't cry for too long. And when they finish crying, they fall into a stun state, which lasts significantly shorter than a sleep state. So we want to make sure they are crying when he walks past, or he will stop and question it just like he would if they were asleep or stunned. So at this point, it's more following the resistance member. On higher difficulties, there are 2 new guards introduced in this area at the end of it that you have to do something specific with. Otherwise, this area is pretty vanilla for the rest of it. The last thing worth talking about is you want to have a empty slot, because the reason we put on the blonde-haired, blue-eyed beauty is she is a European, and all of these guards in Eastern Europe are, for some reason, of the mindset that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful woman could do absolutely no harm to them, and they let us pass without even a second thought. This is not safe for Twitch, so I will refrain from showing what is currently happening off to the right. And then once whatever might ever be happening over there finishes up and we see movement again, we can take these 2 guards out. This bird here likes to get in our way. I will not harm animals on Twitch because that is a terrible thing to do. But I cannot speak for other runners of this game. However, if the Metroid incentive, kill the animals, is currently winning, I may accidentally have to do that. We'll figure that one out. So
kill the animals.
stone, how dare you. So, to explain the difference in strats here, once the resistance member begins moving at this point, your goal is to get around as quick as possible. And there will be 2 guards, one positioned right there, and another just behind this wall. So,
Going to toilet.
if you shoot this one, then you can take advantage of the fact that you're a blonde-haired, blue-eyed beauty and run up and knock the other guard out. Additionally, just a little bit of fun. You may have noticed that we are being followed. So when a caution did pop up, that's because one of the guards woke up. Thankfully, we are completely safe here, and we do not have anything to worry about. So we're just gonna finish this out.
Acknowledge. Sending reinforcements. Use extra caution.
And we're not being followed anymore. I mean, we're totally not being followed. It's okay. So this disguise here works in Europe as long as you have not triggered a caution. Or, sorry, an alert. Once you've triggered an alert with the guards, they know to look out for this disguise and it stops working. But as long as you do not trigger said alert, you can continue to take advantage of this costume. So, just following the resistance member. Time for a quick donation, and then I will explain something when that finishes. Ooh, I might actually be too close here. Wasn't thinking. Alright, so once the resistance member starts running, he actually cannot be interacted with or anything. He becomes a literal brick wall. Because he's entered the next loading zone. And you could do whatever you want there. I don't even think you can take damage, though I'm not tried yet. This is part 2. It introduces the mechanic of searchlights. It's the shortest of the 3 rooms, so really there's nothing to worry about here. We're gonna take out some guards and we're gonna call it a day. So feel free to read donations to the through this area. Oh yeah, Slum, there's a huge community behind Metal Gear.
Look out.
Check out the Metal Gear speedrunning, MGS4 Discord. There's like 200 people in there that run different games. It's crazy. All right. So at this part, you want to be quick. There's only 1 guard on this difficulty. Higher difficulties add new ones. Thankfully, the resistance member is painfully ignorant of your existence and just ignores you. Usually what would happen here is he'd see these guards looking the other way and decide it's completely safe and try to walk past them, and they'd start to arrest him. Then he'd run. So you want to take this out as quickly as possible, because the resistance member being found by guards is really slow. And that's the end of Area 2. So you can grab another donation while I move into Area 3, and I explain another mechanic there. Yeah, I blocked the scene, Slum. The scene was completely safe for work. Oh, snake, suck it out. Your back's fine. So this is another loading zone transition. Alright, so at this point, we're gonna load in, and the resistance member won't actually be here. We're gonna head over here to get a trigger. And then we're gonna shoot the door frame on the whistle and hope he heads the correct direction.
There's something fishy about
We'll see
that
which way he
PMC
headed.
trooper.
Do you hear?
Alright,
whistling?
and so as long as we put our guns
See
away,
if we can get a shot with it.
we're completely safe here. So by shooting that way, we've manipulated the resistance member to skip quite a bit of walking, and he'll return to a barrel around here, or a certain point around here. You'll see it, and this saves over 15 seconds if you get him to run
Nice.
the correct
Well
pattern.
done.
So on this difficulty, there are no guards here. Usually there's 2 guards here, and there are vehicles that patrol around the map. On normal, they come out about halfway through the map, and on hard and extreme, they come out through the entire duration of the map. So this is like a forced escort, or this is just more walking. You could take these guys out if you want. You don't have to. If you've triggered an alert, knocking these guys out will trigger the Jeep to stop and wake them up, buying you more time. But as long as you haven't triggered an alert, there's absolutely no issue here, and you can take as much time as you want. This isn't the shortest room, but it is a very safe room, provided you've done everything up to this point correctly. So, yeah, Stone Man, is there anything you'd like to add to Resistance? Also, do you think this would be a great point to talk, or do you think I should talk about multi-segment Resistance, or do you think I should avoid talking about multi-segment strats during a single segment run?
No, you basically covered all of it.
So this, actually,
you could talk about the multi-segment. I mean, you can save over like half an hour or whatever, I reckon, with it. But I don't know. It depends on how lenient they'll be.
I mean, talking's fine as long as I'm being polite. Actually, Stone, while I have you here, did you experiment with shooting a shot here to see if you can make him skip the alley or walk faster? Do you know if that'll work? Because as far as I could tell, though, you couldn't get anything reliably here, but I'm interested if anything worked for you. In the meantime, while we wait for Stone to answer that, so I will drop multi-segment tips. There's one of the only known skips here, and it takes longer in real time, but in game time, the way it works is it's measured based off of you completing areas.
I did test, but nothing worked that well.
Yeah,
You just like either run back or just run straight up and come back.
fair enough. So yeah, the way the way it works is you basically get the resistance member to enter the next area. You enter it, you save, you save, you quit, you reload your save, and the resistance member is no longer in the room. And you are able to simply run through the room much faster than what you see us doing here, and it saves a good chunk of in-game time. And it's one of the big skips. It makes the run, while in real time the run takes probably 10 minutes longer, in game time you save over 20 minutes. So it's an extremely worthwhile trade-off. Alright, so we're coming to the end of this section. It's gonna be a whole bunch of cutscenes. And then we're going to start the auto scroller, which I can do some tech on, but for the most part, yeah, feel free to explain whatever. Or feel free to read some donations at this part. Unless Stone Man or my chat has anything they'd like to add. Oh, really quick. So this guy, at this point, the loading zone trigger exists, but it doesn't trigger until he gets just before, till he's like 1 or 2 steps away from that point. So that's how you know that it's safe. So anyway, you continue donations.
Don't die on the next part. Even though it's literally easy, don't die.
As the
Don't die on the easiest part of the run, he says. He has so much faith in me.
there was nothing.
We
All
have
right,
to keep Big
so,
Boss's body out of enemy
if you've
hands,
ever
no matter
played this
what.
game
Get the body
on
into the canal escape.
the hardest difficulty, I apologize for what you're about to witness, because I am about to make a tram-sham mockery of the part of this game that challenged you to the point of wanting to smash your system with a sledgehammer. So, on absolutely any difficulty here, every enemy dies in 1 hit, or is knocked unconscious in 1 hit. It doesn't matter where you hit them. The only thing that matters is you do hit them. So this is the part where auto-aim becomes a extremely valuable mechanic, due to the fact that if I didn't have auto-aim, I'd have to manually aim at every one of these guys. But I have auto-aim, so these guys drop in a single aimless shot. And it's pretty nice. For those of you trying to get through Big Boss, or trying to get Big Boss rank here, for some reason, environmental kills in the Metal Gear games have never ever counted against you. So, as long as you shoot a barrel and the guys die to, you know, a barrel, turns out you didn't kill them. My chat has just commented on how boring this part is. Yeah, it's definitely relatively easy and boring on easier difficulties, but on harder difficulties, this part becomes quite a different story. Routing becomes extremely important, and weapon choice, due to how easy it is for you to die on these parts. But right now,
Yeah, this part is boring.
right now we don't have anything to worry about. It's just take enemies out, and read donations. It's split into 3 parts. This is part 2. This is a really cool scene, so I'll just let it show itself while you read some donations.
There's too many of them! Here they come! Need a hand on the right. Enemy to the right!
Alright, so just a quick note, going back to the making a tram-sham mockery of this is the part that almost guaranteed make you want to throw your controller. This and what's gonna happen at the end of the next part. So I do sincerely apologize for this, and I hope you can forgive me for what I have just done, to the hours of work that you put into this. And I know you put hours in because I put hours in. It was an experience that I'm not sure everyone should try once. Oh my god, Slum. That's a lot. That's a lot.
More incoming.
I've got bad news. The decoy
So in
bandits
Area
have all been
3,
with us.
the primary tech is we want to equip our P90, and we want to lock.
And
We
you're
want to
doing good on time so far.
manually aim at this. We want to manually aim at this NPC here, because she's the boss of the area, and you might be able to see she's taking damage.
Like quick kill.
Oh yeah, I'm going for
Or
quick kill.
are you just gonna do it outside?
Unless there's a new quick kill, I'm going for quick kill.
Snake, enemy to the left.
So, yeah, you'll notice this boss is taking damage. She actually starts the next fight with any damage she took knocked out, which can significantly increase the speed of the next fight if it goes well for me. Alright, so this is where enemies start getting introduced. An interesting fact, on normal and easy difficulties, the guard in that Humvee is actually the same guard as the Humvee we're about to come up on. In hard and expert difficulties, this Humvee right here actually has a different guard in it, just to make you hate the game that much more. But yeah, this is where it starts getting really hard. Because we start having to deal with guards as well. None of these flying enemies can actually hurt you. It's all just scripted. But the guards here will kill you, and they will do it very quick. The one on the right is very important to take out. The one on the left is negligible to take out. This is higher difficulty strats I'm talking about here. On this strat, it's pretty irrelevant. You've probably seen me take a grand total of 3 hits the entire run. I've not even used the heal ring. So those two guards in the Jeeps die automatically, whether you shoot them or not. So all you want to do is take out the frogs. And then you hope and pray that these frogs behave nicely, because this is where you die. And if you die in this scene, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of it. It's really rough. So, to anyone who tries this on a higher difficulty, I wish you the absolute best. Anyway, yep, we're coming to the end of this. Shoutouts to Metal Gear Solid 3. Eva gets shot, and then we won't see it because of a cutscene, but she's gonna get stabbed through the stomach in the same place that she got stabbed through the stomach in the 3rd game. And with that, yeah, we're gonna move on into the boss. You can get a quick donation in.
Behind us.
I think we lost them.
And as usual, Stone Man is always welcome to throw any comments he has in. Hey Stone, do you know how I did Act 2? I didn't see my time. Was it a 36 or was it closer to a 40? Don't answer that till after Raven. Alright, so the goal here is we're going to start charging a railgun up and aim at a very specific spot here so that when we see Raven, we're going to shoot her, and if we're successful, take all of her health. Unfortunately, we weren't. But we got really close.
I wasn't really paying that much attention to the time at the end.
So,
Probably.
he just heard the and don't answer till after Raven part.
Snake, she's come out of her suit.
Whoops,
Watch out.
you wanna
She's gonna
actually
try to
hit her.
grab you.
But just like the last beauty, roll down, flip, 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 one shot, and she's gone. You're right. I apologize, Slum. I should have called her Big Mama. Alright, so I'll let Stone relay any quality conversation he has. This is just a slew of cutscenes. There's like 20 in here I need to skip.
By the way.
So,
Nice shot.
great donations during this time. Yeah, I'm sad that wasn't the true quick kill, but it was close enough.
Alright.
I mean, what do you think, Stone? Do you think it would have been more optimal to fire that railgun, or do you think I should have swapped to the 50 cal and taken a 50 cal shot to end that quicker?
Hey, you still got more time to save on Wolf as well. But that was pretty good.
Hey, let's hope it goes that good in the run. So, a quick thing in between donations. Bosses in this game... Oh, I mean...
It probably would have been quicker to switch out to the 50 cal, but... the railgun did its job. That was a good time, by the way. Well, 107? That's really quick.
So, bosses in this game, saying their RNG is not fair because it's really entirely your manipulation of them. But on that same note, bosses can go very poorly. There's a quick kill for every boss in the game, and then there is a you didn't do quick kill, you have to react from this point on for every boss in the game. So that boss went mostly well. I had to react once we got the, when that didn't kill her, but otherwise it was fine. This is a throwback to MGS1. We don't care about alerts, so we're not going to grab the chaff or anything. We're just going to walk through and call it a day. It's just a really interesting, cool thing they did, because we're going to a place that MGS1 fans will. Well, from what I've heard, they have a love-hate relationship with what's about to happen. So I'm gonna let it speak for itself. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I probably should have just 50 cal'd her there to end it, but it's done. So feel free to read some donations. It's some more cutscenes, and then I gotta do a quick menu.
You've got to love the song, though.
Of course,
That's
I love
the only
this
thing
song.
about this. It's part of the map.
Oops. Excuse me, where are they? There they are. I need this, and then I need that. So, that was actually the wrong menu. I'm in the wrong part of the game, which is fine. Oh wow, I just routed this room terribly. I don't know what I'm doing here. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Welcome to Shadow Moses.
Oh, you're using chaps.
It looks like the front hangar door is open. A little bit at least. You can get in that way if you want.
So, unfortunately, most of the game, for lack of a better description, was cut. Not really, but we don't see too much of... Oh, wow, that snipe. We don't actually see too much of Shadow Moses. There's a couple enemies on the left and the right, but we don't care about them. We're just gonna move on with our day here. And head on straight through where we fought the tank. There's actually a lot of... If you do exploring...
Talk about what we were on about earlier with skipping. Possibly skipping. If you could, it would be skipping on the back wall in between the doors. Like after you do this bit. Like so you can skip the whole gecko coming up and going down to unlock it.
Yeah, being able to skip that by using, like, classic strats would be great. So we have to run over, trigger that elevator to get a codec call that says power's out, and then for some reason, even though the power's out, there's enough power to open this elevator, but not enough to open a door. So we're gonna return to Otacon's office, and we could put a password in, but we don't have time for that. Passwords take time. I want to have a empty slot.
Okay.
So yeah, what I was saying is, if you explore this place, there are these things called, like, memories, like this right here. And Snake experiences those, reliving scenes from other parts of his life, specifically the events of Shadow Moses. That was the Gray Fox, the part leading up to the Gray Fox fight. There's a couple more, like if we hang out by the Hind, if we hang out by the tank, but that's the only one that we're going to see if everything goes according to plan. So this is a gecko. We could kill it with a railgun, but the two ways to kill geckos are railguns and 50 cals. Different situations, it's different, depending on what you want. You can do it in one 50 cal shot, but you have to aim a little bit for that. So I just chose to take quite a few shots. Oh, it was a joke. Slum, I don't actually think they cut it. So this is the small sequence break, or not sequence break, it's just a small skip. You roll over the wall, and it lets you drop right into the loading zone, right into the cutscene, instead of having to walk all the way around. It saves a couple seconds. But yeah, that was a joke. They didn't actually, as far as I know, no content was cut from this. What you see is what you get. But if they had actually intended to expand upon this, that would have been amazing. So in this scene, instead of the 50 cal, we're going to charge a railgun, because the railgun will one-shot them at full HP. And now we're going to put on a specific set of weapons here. We're going to put on smoke grenades, and instead of these chaff grenades I equipped earlier on accident, we're going to put on, if I can find it, our MGL. And with this MGL, we're going to swap over to stun bombs, and we're going to get a quick kill on this boss here.
Okay, Snake, it's open now.
So there's a couple ways to do this. If you look it up on YouTube, it's called the Wolf Quick Kill. This boss is pretty random. This is actually one of the true randomness spots of the run. But we're going to do a specific manipulation, I'm gonna call it, that basically lets us take her out almost instantly. So the way this is gonna work is I'm going to run up to her and get her to... This is intended to be a sniping fight for clarification purposes. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run up to her and get her and sit at a specific distance so she keeps shooting at me, but she doesn't close the top of her hood. And by doing that, I'm going to throw a smoke at her to make her start coughing, unable to react. And in response to that, what I'm going to do... Let's see if I get it. Nope. Alright, so I only got one. That means I threw the smoke too early. All I have to do is react to this. It'll be okay. This happens sometimes. It's not too big a deal. She's gonna run somewhere. All I gotta do is find her and redo this. That was really unfortunate. The main thing is don't get too close to her, because that causes her to close the hood again. So we could see she's taken up position here. She's shooting at me with the railgun. I'm going to simply try this again. And she's going to behave very poorly. So we're gonna keep this up until she does it again. There we go. Oh man, she's being rough. Alright, we're gonna go with backup strats here. So backup strats are to simply drop or use the RPG. And you can hit her with the RPG on the side, and it does equal damage to her it does equal damage to her stamina and her health. And it will allow us to effectively take her out. So she's in a good spot. I'm gonna go for another quick kill. One more attempt at it, because it's faster to do the quick kill than it is to do any other means. So she started coughing. So we're gonna do this, and she's done. Unfortunately, it took 2 cycles, but that's how you do the quick kill. So overall, that was still really good Wolf, because Wolf is pure random and can take much longer than that. Right? We're gonna take out the beauty, and we're gonna continue on. So the developers threw a little joke in here, referencing Metal Gear Solid 1. Otacon gives us a call, and it's like, Snake, remember to change out the disc. And Snake says, Otacon, are you the one going senile here? It's pretty entertaining. But you could just read donations during it, because we need to do one more menu and then continue on with the story. So what do you think of that, Stone? How do you think that went for a marathon reaction? Okay, I don't know what just happened with Stone there.
Oh no, that'll probably play back the marathon. Oh, pretty good.
Snake.
I think
I've got something to tell you about.
Yeah, so I changed the audio
Without
from
her.
the
She
TV
might be a
to the
spy.
headset. Or from the headset to the TV.
Oh, okay.
Is that all you
And then I
care
was
about?
like, no, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I heard like an echo of myself and 3 echoes of your PC.
Great thoughts.
Okay, so this next part, you see we equipped something called a chaff grenade. What chaff grenades do is they fill the air with tiny aluminum particles, and it basically jams electronic devices. What it's going to do is it's going to make it so that we can get through this area easier, because there's a couple geckos in here, and by dropping that, it's going to confuse all of the geckos for a couple seconds, but more importantly, it's going to block some enemies that will detect us and send the room into alert, which triggers a chance of us being hit, us being essentially kicked by the bigger geckos, and a kick by the bigger geckos is very detrimental. So I think we got this. Let's hope. Alright, we're good. That alert right there is meaningless. Flick my controller down. So the other reason we equip chaps is for this room. The reason that this room matters is because if a alert is triggered here, the door at the very end will not open. So before I enter this, I have one last menu I need to do due to the fact that I made a mistake. This is going to be setting up for the next part of the run, or the next level in the run. So it's not entirely inconvenient to do this now. If I can find the gun. Alright. So we're gonna go into this
Don't forget to
using...
equip the 7 gun.
Yeah.
Oh, you did it after that.
So we're gonna go into this using something called the solar gun. What this gun does is it's a reference to another game, and it allows us to charge up a shot of essential pure sunlight. And if you've ever fought a vampire in a game before, then you should know relatively well vampires hate sunlight, and this boss just happens to be part vampire. So we're gonna lock on and one and done him. So with that, what we need to do is walk up behind him, grab him, and hit the trigger button when we have this syringe equipped. That allows us to knock out his, essentially, TLDR, we're suppressing his nanomachines and making him vulnerable. Shoutouts to this gecko, who kills me 9 out of 10 times when I play this game, because he is an absolute jerk.
I'm sending you data on where to put a bullet in their brains.
So at this point, this is a essential. You can think of this as like a, I think it's 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes of me killing these geckos, while these two over here on the right showboat it all up. To save some donation reading time, the way you get the sun gun is you have to beat this game once, and you have to kill the beast form of all 4 Beauty and the Beast units non-lethally. For 3 of them, or for 2 of them, that's actually pretty easy. For 2 of them, that's relatively more difficult to do. Thankfully, it's the earlier 2 that are more difficult. Additionally, you have to beat the frog fight, not entirely non-lethal as well. Anyone going for that, to note, if you put a frog to sleep and they fall and die, falling is environmental and does not count against you. So remember that. So yeah, this is just gonna happen. Enjoy everyone's favorite Metal Gear 2 Solid main character, Raiden, and bam. And thank you very much for that follow, Slumdog. I really appreciate that. Oh my god, I got shot. I am going to take this personally against that gecko because I got shot. Alright. So I want to menu one more time because I've been menuing... I'd say I've been menuing 50-50 on efficiency here. Yeah, I've been menuing 50-50 on efficiency here. So I need to make sure I have a couple weapons in my inventory so this next part's as fast as possible. Actually, thinking about it, I do not need to menu because the game is going to force me to menu anyway. So I take that back. We're just gonna wait while geckos continue to come. And donations continue to be read. Stoneman, anything you'd like to follow up with at this point of the run? What? He didn't die? Fair enough.
Nice, Snake.
Other than Vantage God, no, you basically got everything. I like how you're using the Bow 50 times with the one shot though, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, the railgun just feels slow, man. Alright. So this is the end of that scene. It takes a set amount of time. There's nothing you can do about it. So now we're going into... Well, first we're going into a dash. Just dash. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna... There's a certain community here...
For it to charge. Yeah, I'd prefer the Bard.
There's a certain community here that is going to understand the reference that I'm about to make. And there's a certain community here that might be offended by this. But, dash, Metal Gear, dash. That's literally all this is. But this is gonna take us into another boss fight. It's gonna be Metal Gear Rex versus Metal Gear Ray. There's a couple ways to do the fight we are coming up to. The fight can take anywhere from 15 seconds to 3 minutes. We're gonna hope it goes on the quicker end. It's a Kingdom Hearts 2 reference, Stoneman. But yeah, this is gonna, the fight is, it's, I like to think it's random, you can probably manipulate it, okay, so that was some weird movement from Rex there. But we're gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna focus on it. So while I do that, this will be a great time for Stoneman if you would like to talk about the Rex versus Ray fight. I'd appreciate that. And otherwise, agreed donations in this fight. That's a shame that you lost all of your MGS4 saves. Hey, just play it again, man.
The exploit of the rain fight. basically what we want to try to do is spam in with the missiles and then captain with the machine gun. But I believe what Sergeant's going to do is go and try to
I'm just gonna kill it. I'm not doing anything.
it's quicker.
I appreciate what I'm going to try to do, Stone Man. I'm just trying to beat it.
Missile!
Ah, I got missiles. This is poor RNG here. Alright, he's... Alright, so this is example of really bad RNG.
Oh, you're just going straight for it without doing the
Snake, keep it coming.
laser. Yeah, it just...
Yeah. This is just really poor RNG, how it's working
You
out.
don't even get that much left of it.
So these are slow, but they do a lot of damage to him. So my goal is honestly to just do damage to him. I will openly admit this is the weakest part of my run. So if anyone is interested in trying for this is going to be the part to work on. Oh my god, this is really bad. He's hit me twice now. Magically, I'm gonna call it. Oh, okay, I'm being chained. And this is what a bad Rex fight looks like. What? Where'd he go? Dude, Rex, please. Whatever you were doing, just stop.
Keep it coming. Here it comes.
Okay. I don't actually know what's going on.
Normally we want to try and get this fight done within the first 30 seconds, but Sergeant's not having the best luck as it's going. He's kind of stolen him.
Okay, there we go. So, you'll notice Ray...
But normally when we start this fight, we want to like spam him with the missiles because it stuns him slightly.
So you'll notice there Ray just took a huge chunk of damage. That's due to his vulnerability frames opening up at unique points. And
Nice, good fight.
yeah, it's just really random. Sometimes his HP does that. So I got lucky and ended it there. That's kind of what I was going for the whole fight, and it finally worked out for me. But yeah, feel free to continue explaining that, Stone Man. Also, thanks for the cover. I appreciate that. In the meantime, we're heading into Act 5. It's the final act. There's a specific route here. There's actually 2 routes you can do on top deck. I prefer to do a little bit.
Sure.
I prefer to do a little bit of a safer route.
Just spam him till he stuns. If you could try get him to open his mouth like anti-stun, so you can just fire in there, and it would be pretty good.
Yeah, I think fastest Ray's ever died is 15 seconds. Hey, thanks, Raichu. Alright, so I'm gonna do... Oh, that's a cutscene. I'm gonna do this the safer way. There's a, 30-second faster way to do this fight, or to do the top deck, but, I don't want to do that because it's extremely risky here. It's extremely risky to go for that strategy. So you'll notice those enemies over there are frogs, and we're gonna take advantage of the fact that they're frogs, and punish them. So we're gonna fire a stun. Hey, thanks for that follow, Raichu. We're gonna throw a stun grenade at those guys. Wait for these two to drop down. Throw a stun grenade to take both of them out.
Are you gonna try frogs? Yeah.
I am gonna try for frog skip. We're gonna instantly knock both of those out with the mask. Slide through this. Wait a couple seconds for this gecko to fully turn around. Then get down. And I don't have my I don't have the gun I need equipped. So we're gonna equip it really quick here. 2 more frogs are gonna come down. Take them both out as quickly as possible here. Make sure this gecko isn't looking at us. He's moving away, which means we're in the clear. And then we're gonna head on through and we're going to finish top deck. So that gecko just showed up. He's pretty irrelevant. All we gotta do is smash triangle as hard as we can. And we're through. So if an alert triggers, this elevator here that you see me on will not activate. It has to be out of alert and preferably out of evasion in order to continue. Otherwise, that room can get extremely dangerous. Welcome to the chat, Raichu.
Did you say microwave?
Sounds nice, Doctor.
So the night fight, the next fight coming up is it's going to be another frog fight, and what we're gonna try to do is skip the fight. So there's a very unique setup for this, and like I said before, I've been menuing unfortunately pretty poorly here, so I have to go into my menu again and equip smokes. Because the guns we need are smokes, the M4, which the fight starts us with, and that pistol, and the Mark II. So the way this is going to work is we're going to take out 3 of the 4 frogs in the first, 4 of the frogs in wave number 1 by, you can use the mask. They can't actually see you through the glass. Ow. So, but if they jump to you, they do see you. So what we want to do here is throw a smoke. If it behaves. It's not behaving well. Alright, so we want to... What are you doing, frog? Come on! Throw a smoke at her feet. That was an actual grenade, so this is unfortunately going quite bad. We're gonna lay down. We're gonna trank her in the chest. Throw a smoke at her feet and hope this works. I believe I messed it up due to just being distracted. We'll see. We didn't get it. Okay. So what that would have done is skip the entire rest of the thing, but I needed to start with a smoke grenade in order to get it, successfully. So we're just gonna take out all these frogs. It adds like a minute to the run if you miss that, but it's irrelevant. It's only a minute. In the meantime, we're gonna get our solar gun equipped. There's only 3 waves of frogs if you do miss it. So it's not too much work to get through. Ooh, that grenade was unfortunate.
Yeah, I never actually done frog skip properly. I've only like slightly got it, but...
So we're gonna take advantage of auto aim to make our lives really easy.
I didn't really find it that important.
Yeah, I think only 1 of the 3 sub 2 times in this game on single segment have frog. So this boss we have to inject ourselves with a syringe to suppress our nano machines. And then what we need to do is shoot this orange doll that the boss has because doing so makes her drop control of Meryl, but also lets us take control of living creatures as opposed to dead ones, such as the boss herself. Yeah, only a minute, right, Stu? Only a minute. You don't. I don't know why we use the sun gun. It's kind of just what we do. But you want to make sure you don't miss, because if you miss the boss, she'll teleport away, and it will cause her patterns to behave. She'll behave extremely violently and erratically, to the point of costing at least 10 seconds, most likely. So, thankfully, she let it go.
Yeah, I used the P90.
You have to pick,
I don't really understand why people use the sun gun.
we have to pick it up and then equip it to us. I could have equipped it earlier. At this point, I don't feel like I need to explain my poor menu. So, once you gain control over her, you simply do this. You can't see it, but I'm shaking my controller back and forth and left and right. And that causes her to do it. The image says to tip it front and backwards vertically, but it's actually better to force it side to side, to the left and right. She takes significantly more damage when you do it that way. Don't know why. Was it you who found that stone? Are you the one who pointed that out?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So there are 4 scenes left in the game. The first one is a couple hallways.
I noticed it, but I think Magnus used it for me. But I'm not sure.
Alright. Well, it's definitely more efficient. It also helps if your controller's not currently plugged in via USB and charging, but no one needs to know I was doing that. So this is one of the 4 scenes left. It's literally just us running. So this would be a point where we talk about maybe donations. If not donations, we could talk about any last tech we have that, because we have plenty of time to explain the final couple rooms of tech here. I think they'll just be donations because it's more cutscenes afterwards. Alright, so this is the second part of this, and you want to use a chat early because these enemies will jump on you and grab you, and if they do that, it brings you down. That's time loss, and then on top of them grabbing you and you losing a time to them, it gives them a chance to bunch up later, and if they bunch up in your way, they could become quite dangerous. But once you get through that last one, this room's actually an auto-scroller. You don't have to do anything. If you guys have any last thoughts other than the final boss, now would be the time to talk about the run, because I'm gonna be doing every MGS runner's favorite part of this game. If no one has anything to say at this point, it'll literally just be more donations if no one has anything to say. Though, actually at this point, we can talk about the tech. We actually don't have to push triangle the whole time. But I would rather, if you guys don't mention that, or my couch doesn't mention that, I'd rather talk about that after the event is done, to emphasize it's not actually as bad as it looks. because I actually have a really good comedic idea for this part of the run. I think you guys will get it, even though you can't see me. Alright. So, things to note are, you can actually steer Snake during this. You want to keep him as straight as possible, otherwise, on top of it taking longer. So I'm mashing triangle right now, and it starts to hurt when you mash triangle for too long. So the longer this takes, the more mashing triangle. If you see the mash triangle appear on screen, it means I'm not mashing fast enough for the game to be happy with me. Each of these electric shocks you see happening, they're actually scripted. They are tied to certain points in the cutscene. Also, I have to hit triangle faster now, so if you thought it was bad, it just got worse. But yeah, the shocks and the faster triangles are tied to certain points in the cutscene. So you'll know where you are based off of when these happen. There's gonna be one more coming up, and all we have to do is make it to that door at the end of the hallway, and we win. But the game, I guess, the game doesn't like you winning, because at about this point, when we see Sunny reveal her eggs, the game decides you need one more bolt of thunder. And now I have to hit the triangle button as fast as possible! But I'm actually tired and I don't want to press the triangle button at all, so I'm just gonna let Snake die. But instead he's gonna move himself! Oh, yeah, no one has time to push triangle that fast. So the way that scene works is, once the door at the end of the hallway opens, you have reached far enough forward, you can actually stop pressing triangle. You do not have to press triangle any—
It's over 9,000!
Once it opens, you don't have to push triangle ever again. Alright, so this is the final fight. If you guys are familiar with Metal Gear Solid 1, then you know about this thing called juggling liquid. This game's gonna be the same thing. So we want to bait liquid into specific attacks, if we can get them. He doesn't want to do it here. Alright, so we're gonna have to start the juggle here. There we go. Oh no. Ooh. This is bad. Liquid's giving me bad. Alright, there we go. We got the juggle started. So if I do this right, the juggle, I can maintain the juggle the entire time. That's the plan, even through blocks. We'll see if it actually behaves that way. If Liquid blocks, if Liquid ducks, there's a chance that he can cancel this. As long as we don't get hit by a kick or his bull rush move, we'll be okay. Things like that trigger cutscenes, they make this scene slow, they make it long. So that's the main thing we're avoiding. You see he keeps trying to get a kick in, but we're not gonna let that happen here. Ooh, that's the bull rush. I did not want to get hit by that. You see how long this takes when I do. Unfortunately, I could not react to that, even if I had wanted to. But when he does it, he leaves himself insanely open for me to immediately follow it up with the second combo. So every time we get a cutscene like this, it means he's going to another stage, or phase. So this is phase 2, representing Metal Gear Solid 2. So we're gonna do a juggle again, but what we're gonna try to do is get him to do a big punch. You might see it, there it is. So when he does that, that punch does a massive amount of damage, but it's super easy to sidestep. Okay. He's kind of giving me a little bit of trouble here. So this is what I'm talking about. You get hit, it triggers a cutscene. But yeah, it's okay here. We're gonna try to bait the big punch out, and then juggle him. Just continue the juggle. So if we did this right, he'll be permanently in this juggle, and we won't have to do anything else. Oh, thankfully you gain immunity to everything when you.
To the floor.
So when you get like edge stun like that, you gain immunity to any damage he might throw at you, including big hits. So you want to capitalize on that. That's faster than getting hit. Ooh, liquid, liquid, dude. Ah, we hit each other. Come on, liquid. Why? He's being mean right now. So, you see me dodging, but in reality, I also could just duck here, and ducking would work just as fine. It really comes down to personal preference. This is phase 3, representing... This represents Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid 3. The stage is really entirely random. He's liable to grab me and throw me. He's liable to headbutt me. I just have to hope I get him in a good juggle. And you can kind of tell by his hands what he's gonna do. So if his hands are open, that's when you need to really react. Or that's when you need to avoid reacting to him. Because if his hands are open, he's going to counter you. Oh my god, we keep hitting each other here. Rough.
Yeah, the ones and headbutts,
I actually haven't, oh, there's my first headbutt. You had to mention headbutts. Alright, I think we have him. Eventually, his guard's gonna go down when you hit him enough. I hope. No, it's not working. I did not mean to follow through with that. Okay, so this is what Liquid 3 can do. He has yet to lower his guard. And unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do about this. Even when I try to dodge away, Liquid grabs me here. So, we're gonna hope he eventually opens up. Because this has been a pretty... Second headbutt. This has been a pretty unfortunate fight.
Constant CQC.
And again, I have to stress, there is literally nothing I can do here. This is how this phase 3 goes.
Use your one punch. Maybe that'll help.
So I'm gonna try to continue to dash. Yeah, see, okay, so I threw in some dashes in there. That's making him rotate, and it's giving me some openings to punch him. So I did some more damage to him here. On the run right before this, I one-cycled him without him doing...
L1 punch, not R1 punch. It's the R1 that makes the hard punch. It may knock into the floor, which could be technically slower, but it could do.
Thankfully, there's a limited amount of cutscenes we can get. So, once we get through them all, except for those grapples are not unlimited. He can do that whenever. Oh my god, dude, Liquid! Wow! I'm literally... Liquid could not be worse today, dude. Okay.
He can just
He's done.
like I've never seen Liquid just CQC someone so much in one fight.
So we're now on phase 4. We have health. It looks like
That's
it's
gonna be upwards of 30.
Not over yet.
yeah. It looks like our health is limited, but we just use a single visual cue, and once we pass it, all we have to do is continue hitting R1 as fast as possible to continue throwing cinematic punches. Time is going to be coming up extremely shortly. Once I put the last input in and throw the final punch, I will tell you when. Alright guys, here we go. Are you ready? Next punch. Next punch is it. Yo, I could pick name Jay. Welcome to the chat. Alright. Here we go. And time. So this game uses in-game time normally, but for the sake of marathon, we're going to simplify it to right there. The rest of the run is cutscenes, things. All we can do is skip and watch. And I know GDQ's not here to watch 15 minutes of unskippable credits, so I'm gonna save you all the time, and we're gonna call time here. So, yeah. Thanks everyone. That's Metal Gear Solid. I do plan on submitting a couple other things. I plan on submitting a possible run for Liquid Easy, Solid Normal, Naked Normal, and Big Boss Hard. In additional, we can have donation incentives for if we watch which intro cutscene or which intro TV channel we watch. I think that'd be a good one. It only adds 2 minutes. And if you want, we can have one for the end, but I don't think that's worth doing, so I'm not gonna submit it. But yeah, thanks for the video. I'm thinking on somewhere between 205 and 220, depending on which difficulty gets picked for the run. But yeah, that's Metal Gear Solid 4. Thanks everyone here. I'd like to do a shout out to anyone on the couch, anyone who helped commentate, anyone who's here now. And finally, the man who got me into speedrunning, he's not here because he has a kid now. But Grand Pooh Bear, thank you very much. I love what you do, and thank you for getting me into this. You all have a great night and a great convention.